Alright, so I got my trench dug. Not perfectly straight, but it don't matter. Main thing is having that string. It could take you a couple days to do this. If you're only one person, only have an hour or so at a time. It probably took me about an hour to dig that. I used a shovel with a square end, and all the way up to the top is 10 inches on this shovel, so it was really easy to measure. It also looks a little prettier. Got 2 buckets of manure, rabbit manure mixed in with straw, 2 buckets of ashes. I went and dug those up where we usually burn our brush piles at. And the straw, for me, I feed my rabbits hay, so my hay falls down where they're pooping and peeing, so it just kind of makes it easier for me. I don't use a wheelbarrow. I prefer to use buckets. As you can see, these are just cat litter buckets. Want not, waste not, want not, right? So there's always something you can use. You don't have to have what people would call, quote unquote, the proper tools. On a farm, man, you got to be cost efficient. So another reason for the string, other than the line up of the trench, is also let people know that there's something there. So if somebody's walking through here, they don't realize what I'm doing, which sometimes happens here, they'll see a string and they'll know, hey, there's probably something there. Also, if it takes a couple days, it's good to have that string kind of as a little safety or hazard, you know, so they know there's something there. And then of course you can leave the string there if you want after you're all done and have a mound, or you can cut it and take it off. It don't really matter at that point. It's not really a tripping hazard anymore, but if you want to keep it marked throughout the winter, you can leave it up. Alright, so I got my potatoes here. Most of them have eyes on them, as you can see, and so can they. My trench has the straw with the manure and a little bit of ashes. I don't think I specified before, but you don't want too many ashes. You want as much manure as you can get, but too many ashes is not a good thing. A lot of people don't know that you do need ashes in a garden. Ashes help add potassium, and it's one of the 3 things that most gardens are monitored for. So what I used only almost a full bucket of ashes, and I used about 5 buckets of straw with manure. So if you wanted to do the math, about 5-6 parts straw and manure to 1 part ash, if you wanted to do it that way and get specific. I also added a little bit of water. It's not freezing at this point right now. There is some ice, and should be all right. I added some water to hopefully start the decomposition process. I added 5 gallons to the whole trench area, so it was just a little bit throughout the whole thing. And then I'll go ahead and put in my potatoes about every 6 inches, and I will cover it up with some more manure, probably 5 more buckets of that with the straw, and then ashes again. Alright, so I actually used 10 buckets instead of 5 because I wanted to fill it all the way up to the top. Added the rest of that bucket of ashes. I still have 1 left. I got to just scatter it on the rest of the garden. So altogether I used 15 buckets of straw mixed with manure, rabbit manure, and 1 bucket of ashes. And then of course I added some extra straw that I have laying down in the garden already to the top, just to make sure it's pretty close to flush. And then all the dirt I dug up, I'll put right back on into a mound over the top of it, and that straw should keep it nice and insulated during the winter, and it should slowly rot and slowly decompose, keeping it warm. And the roots should be growing all winter. Should have a healthy crop this spring. All right, well, I'm out of breath. I got the mound, all the dirt from the left over on the right. Some of it has straw in it because, well, I have straw and hay all over the garden to decompose. So some of it has some straw and hay packed in, which is fine. Have a little mound, I don't know, maybe 6 inches tall. And of course you step on it while you put it over the trench, and just make a mound over it. The hay and the decomposition process should keep it warm, and the mound might freeze, but underneath it should not. Took me about 3 hours to do the whole process. I want to say, by looking at it, maybe this is 50 foot or so. So 1 person, about 3 hours for 50 foot.